Hello and welcome back to VRC 1000. This is lesson number 6 of module number 6, paragraph jumble number 3. What have we learned? Keep it simple, soldier. We'll use zooming in, generic to specific, general to specific, broad to narrow. We'll find out the echo words. If there are pronouns, we'll pick those pronouns. There are signals, we'll be excited to find out the start, the blocks, and then the sequence. But someone is missing here. You have to notice in the last 2 lessons of paragraph jumble, R man is missing. And when it comes to reading comprehension or paragraph summary, you've seen that every single lesson practically, we've seen this fellow. So, it's understandable why we should know the question setter there, because the author has created a passage. The question setter, of course, edited it to make it 500 words for a reading comprehension or 100 words for a paragraph summary questions. But the question setter clearly created the question and the 4 answer choices. These things are created by the question setter, and we needed to understand what the question setter is actually doing. What are the traps that is set by the question setter? And knowing what the question setter is trying to do here is absolutely crucial and important. But when it comes to paragraph jumble, where do we find the question setter? So all we have is author. All we have is that paragraph. All the question setter has done is to arrange it in some random order and given it to you. Is the question setter really involved? Should we care? Actually, we should not care, because we don't know what the question setter is actually trying to do. But here we exactly know what the question setter is trying to do. Here we cannot know what the question setter is trying to do, but the question setter is still involved. We'll ignore it, but they are involved. Let me explain. Let's start with this first question. You would have solved this, and I'm sure that there could be a problem. You might have got it wrong. But what I think you did not get wrong is at least the start. You were sure the start had to be true. Why? Because you saw this sentence. This first one is talking about fish skin collagen specifically. This one is talking about fish skin. Again, you're talking about pig and cow collagen. And suddenly you see this one sentence which is talking about collagen in general. Collagen, one of the most main structural proteins in connective tissues in human body, and this is also defining and giving one importance of it, the benefit promoting skin regeneration. And then you've got something specific that is talking about fish skin, and something specific that is talking about pig and cow collagen proteins. Then the second thing that you knew is that this 3 and 1, because they're talking about fish skin specifically, forms some sort of a block, whether it is a 1-3 block or it's a 3-1 block, but definitely these has block, and we then have to figure out where to place statement number 4. All are good, all are fine, but then I'm guessing that you had a problem with this particular sentence. I'm guessing, I don't know whether you had a problem when I read the first time. I got a bit confused, then I had to read it again to try and figure out what is going on here. Let me explain. Now the first sentence is saying, fish skin collagen has excellent thermostability and tensile strength, something that is positive. That's what the first sentence is talking about, something absolutely positive about fish skin collagen, something excellent, making it ideal for the use as bandage that adheres to the skin and adjusts to the body movement. And then it's talking about something that is very specific. We can see that this conversation is okay. Can't even read. I can't read what I've written. The color is bad. Something that is very specific. Okay, great. And then the second sentence, of course, we find out talks about collagen. And then the third sentence talks about fish skin. And it's about how do we read this. The first time when I read this, okay, I saw this word. Let me just erase this. I saw this word "and" here when I read it, and I kind of made this into one block and made this into another block. Now, when I read it like this, the first time, fish skin swims in here as diseases, and bacteria that affect fish are different from most human pathogens. I'm like, wait a minute, it's talking about a negative thing. What's going on? What is going on within 1 and 3? One day you're suddenly saying something absolutely amazing about fish skin. Now you're saying fish skin is a disease. Okay, then I said, okay, wait a minute. I'm reading it wrong. I've read it wrong. Then I looked at this part here, which says fish skin swims. What do you mean fish skin swims? Is it literally, does it swim? The fish is like sitting and saying, oh, I'm bored now. I've swam a lot. Skin, 1 second. Go swim. So this does make sense. So this whole idea of swims in here is not literal meaning. It's probably figurative meaning. Then I realize, oh, this is the block. I think we should block like this. Fish skin swims in here. As diseases and bacteria that affect fish are different from most human pathogens. So this is another block. That fish skin is swimming here. What does it mean? Let's read sentence number 4. The risk of introducing disease agent into other species through the use of pig and cow collagen proteins for wound healing has inhibited its broad application in this medical field. So they're saying that there is a problem. Oh, then he says, okay, fish skin swims in here, but fish skin is an alternative. Because diseases and bacteria that affect the fish skin are different from most pathogens. And therefore, fish skin is amazing. Which means, after introducing collagen, what collagen is, in number 4, told us a problem. And then introduces an alternative and say that we have got fish skin. Or a solution to it. And then talks specifically about one specific aspect of it. So 3.1 is a block. 4 is making the transition. 4 to 3 is making the transition. In terms of problem to solution, 2, 4, 3, 1, everything depends upon how we read this. Now at this point in time, whom do we blame? Obviously, we can't blame the question setter, can we? What did the question setter do? The poor question setter, what did they do? They just picked a passage written by another author and we should blame the author. Oh, I really wanted to know. Whom should we blame? There's nothing we can do about it, right? We don't know whom to blame. In the examination, we're not going to sit and figure out who did this. Author did this, or the question setter did this. We can't. So we'll ignore it. But it's also important to understand what the questions setter involved. So this is, I went and figured out where the source is. This is from citable by Nature Education, Nature Journal. Okay, let's see. Even before Zhu et al. Dove into the sea and wound healing, the use of collagen for promoting skin regeneration is well known. Collagen is one of the main structural proteins in connective tissues and human body, and it's saying that it is well known for promoting skin disease. The question setter got involved. The question setter created the first sentence using that. Obviously, question setter cannot start like this. Question setter, of course, want to create a paragraph which has got a clear start. So that's what the question setter did. Then it went on to say, okay, pig and cow collagen proteins have been used to promote wound healing successfully in the past, but the risk of introducing disease agents from these mammalian species inhibits broader application in the medical field. And a different version of it, obviously, since you've created the paragraph like this, I understand you have to create the sentence like this. The risk of introducing disease agents in other species, that's fine. And then the author writes one sentence. It says, and that's where fish skin swims in. Now, I understand this. This is clear. That's where fish skin swims in. And then says, diseases and bacteria that affect fish skins are different from most human pathogens, and fish skin also is cheap and readily available for bandage protection. Now, what has the question setter done? Question setter has connected these two things together. All we needed is 1 comma. You just put 1 comma, please. 1 comma, you would have helped us. No. We can't do anything. But if you're not lazy, if you're following the story, okay, the sequencing, problem solution sequencing, concept application sequencing, whatever sequencing you want to look at, but it's still, we can see it's still zooming in, definitely zooming in, broad and narrow. It has got echoes. It definitely had echoes. Collagen, fish skin, right? It obviously did not have pronouns. It did not have any specific signals, but we could still see transition. Obviously, whatever was a signal, which is saying and, that signal word has been removed by the question setter. Fair enough. And if this would have been there, but if one signal was given, life would have been much more easier. But sometimes the signal words are not there. Fair enough, but we can still manage. Let's go and look at this one. This is CAT 2022 slot 1 again. I don't know what is CAT 22 slot 1 doing. Okay, let's read each one. I don't know what struggles you had. Let's look at sentence number 1. Some company leaders are basing their decisions on locating offices to foster innovation and growth, as their best performing innovators suffered the greatest productivity losses when their commutes were longer. Okay, so now basically what sentence is saying, there is a problem and there was a solution to that particular problem in this sentence, right? What is the problem? What is the problem? The problem was their best performing innovators suffered greatest productivity losses when their commutes grew longer. So you have got amazing people, heroes of an outcome company, heroes, and the company is here. When the commute is long, they found it difficult. So what some company leaders doing? They are basing the decision locating offices to foster. They are probably keeping the office closer. Okay, that is sentence number 1 saying. Okay, number 2, shorter commutes support innovation. Okay, I can already see an echo. I can see echo. Okay, and talking about longer commutes. Commutes, the another one that I can see is this talking about commutes. Fair enough. By giving employees shorter support innovation, by giving employees more time in office and greater opportunity for in-place collaboration while removing the physical strain of a long commute. Great. So 1 and 2 is somewhere connected. Now we say this is not always the case. Wonderful. This sentence needs support. So what is this? Where is it? This is not always the case. Remote work. Now the problem with remote work does not automatically lead to greater creativity and productivity, as office water cooler conversation also very important for innovation, right? Great. What is it? We see that is another echo. Some see the link between long commutes and productivity as support for work from office scenario, as many workers have grown accustomed to their commute-free arrangement during the pandemic. Okay, all right. The only thing that we know is 3 cannot be the start. Then we want to figure out which is the start. Okay, another thing that I see is there is one group who is actually trying to basing their decision locating offices. Another group, some see the link between long commutes and productivity as support for work from home scenario. And very clearly, we can see a block. This is a problem with work from 4. We know that 4-1 is a block. Definitely 4-1 is a block. So 4-3, not 4-1, 4-3. Why am I using the word? I'm thinking, I can see it when I'm writing it. I don't know, something happens. Sorry, 4-3 is a block, 4-3. Why is it 4-1 is a block? 4-3 is a block. 4-3 is a clean block. Okay. So where is this coming from? Now, where is this coming from? Where is the conversation coming from? You cannot move the conversation from here on. We look at, there is a positive. This is talking about something that is positive in the sense that shorter commutes support innovation by giving employees more time in their office. Right. So that is a state claim that is being made. So then it says, okay, what is company leaders doing? Narrow. Okay, shorter commutes give innovation, support innovation. Broad. So what is company doing? They are basing the decision on locating offices to foster innovation and growth. Great. 2-1 is sense, and then the conversation moves here. But some see the link between long commutes and productivity as support for work from home scenario. They are taking a different take. So 2 is definitely the start, and some company leaders are basing the location in the right manner. But there are others who feels in a different way. But there is a problem. 2-1, 4-3. Did you get this? Did you get this? Did you see some company leaders are basing, some see the link? Now the question setter could have used the word others. Life would have been much better. So we say that there is a claim that is being made. Shorter commutes support innovation. Great. Okay. So some company leaders are basing their decision on locating offices to foster. They are changing their office location. What are some others doing? Is a thing long commutes of productivity support from support for work from home scenario. Then they come just sit at home. But then author is saying that that is a problem. So this is 2, 1, 4 and 3. Slightly more challenging to do this. This is not very clear. And when I actually read this like this, if you see a paragraph like this, if I put the paragraph in this particular manner, it's still difficult. Okay, there should have been some, connector words, a better way of, so there should have been some transition word. The cohesion is not very strong, not very good. If I look at this paragraph is not that well created, but I can still figure out the order. Read this. Read this. Shorter commute support innovation by giving employees more time in the office and greater opportunities for in-person collaboration while removing the physical strain for a long commute. Some company leaders are basing their decision locating offices to foster innovation growth, as their best performing inventors suffer the greatest productivity losses when their commutes grew longer. Some see the link between long commutes and productivity as support of work from home scenarios, as many workers have grown accustomed to their commute-free arrangement during the pandemic. This is not always the case. Remote work, at least 4 and 3 has a strong connection. So there is at least there is a cohesion. But the question is not very strong. Logically, of course, this has to come after this. Logically, over this, the case, question, who would we blame? This was taken from Harvard magazine, okay? Let's look at how the original piece was written. One of the most surprising findings, Wu says, is that firms' best performing innovators suffered the greater productivity loss when their commute grew longer. This raises an important question about where company leaders should establish offices for fostering innovation and growth. Where should? This was to change the story only. Raising a question, where should keep the office? This is some company leaders are actually deciding. Companies often determine their office location based on where their CEOs want to live, but this might be the wrong way to do it. Instead, where do your best inventors want to live? So obviously, the author wants to say something. The question setter thought of saying something else only. Okay, View theorizes that short commutes support innovation by giving employees more time to spend at office and more opportunity in-person collaboration while removing stress and physical strain of long commute. Okay, there is obviously in-person collaboration is somewhere else. Okay. Because many US workers who had commute-free arrangement during the pandemic like them, some are tempted to see View's finding as support for work from home scenario. But he stresses this is not the case. Also, this is this one, right? Tempted to do this, but this is not the case. This is not the case. Commuting is bad, but that doesn't mean automatically remote work is good. Having people in office for water cooler conversation is very important for innovation, and we don't have a virtual substitute for that. Now, look at what has happened. An author nicely wrote a long passage to really help us understand. The question setter decided, I am going to create a paragraph based on it. I will create a paragraph such that it is I will not have any cohesion at all. Very rare this happens. It's not always the case. But you have got question setters like this. What to do? But you must understand one very important thing, right? You get 3 questions of paragraph jumble. 2 questions of paragraph, 3 questions of paragraph summary. 2 questions of odd sentence. Or in this case of paragraph completion. Very likely to be paragraph completion. We have got 8 questions. 8 into 3, we have got 24 marks. Right? Overall, we want to cross 40 marks. Overall, to get the 99 percentile, right? That's the idea. Overall, we want to cross about 40 marks. So, is it possible out of the 16 questions of reading comprehension, I could get maybe about 8 of them net correct, 7, 8 net correct. So is it possible, can I get maybe about 20 marks, 24 marks from here? So to get 40 marks, how many do we need? We need about 16 marks from here, which is getting how many questions correct? 5 questions correct. Out of the 8, 4 to 5 questions correct, I can still manage. So even if, let's say, I miss out, I make one paragraph jumble question wrong, I'm still okay. So I don't want to do over analysis for any of these questions. But sometimes I'm making a bet. I want to keep my life absolutely simple. I don't want to get bothered too much with respect to what the question setter is trying to do here in paragraph jumble. I'm going to look at the paragraph and assume that the question setter has done a great job in terms of creating a paragraph. At least the sequence is there. And I'll make the most of whatever I see. Right? That's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to bother anything beyond it. I'll take one more example. Okay. Cat 28 in slot number 1. Okay. Sometimes it's possible that the question setter goofs up a bit. It's possible. Now, obviously, the question setter can defend the question setter's order. And we as students, whatever we tell them, at least in maths, if I say 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 2 equal to 4. In question like paragraph jumble, until it's absolutely atrocious, you can defend orders, right? So, for example, when you look at this question, I'm sure that you would have got the start as 1. Why? Because we saw woodland canopy receives the sunfall, and then you talk about above the canopy. Hundreds of thousands of woodland canopy receives most of the sunlight that falls on trees. Hundreds and thousands of insects fly in the sunshine above the canopy. Some falling prey to swifts and swallows. The swifts and swallows is getting introduced here. We can see that echoing here, especially about swifts, very specific. At least we know that the conversation has to start from 1, go to 4, and then get to this conversation of 2 and 3. So I know that 1, 4 is a block, and the conversation moved to 2 and 3, which means there is possibility of 1, 4, 2, 3, and there is a possibility of 1, 4, 3, 2. At this point in time, I think half the people will pick 2, 3, half the people will T2, and they'll sit and defend. That's what would have happened. Let's analyze this a bit. The woodland canopy receives most of the sunlight that falls on the trees, correct? Hundreds of thousands of insects fly in the sunshine above the canopy, some falling prey to, some of these insects fall prey to swifts and shadows. Okay, let's look at 2 and 3. Swifts do not confine themselves to woodland, but hunt wherever there are insect in the air. But now you're saying that we don't care. So we've talked about canopy. Okay, and there are insect flying. There are swift, which is trying to get, I don't know what canopy looks like. I'm just drawing. Okay, think this is a woodland canopy. There are insects are flying. Our swifts are there to come and catch it. Now that is what 1 and 4 is saying. And the 2 is saying, okay, not just canopy. Our swift will go anywhere where they can find insect. They have gone out of canopy only. Discussion has moved out only to canopy. Okay, let's look at 3 with their streamlined bodies. Swifts. Now we are talking about swifts. Swifts are agile flyers. Okay, now that we are getting some intro to swift. What is swift? Ideally adapted to twisting and turning through the air as they chase flying insects. Okay, what is this flying insects? The creature that form their staple food. Oh, we are talking about, okay, now we are giving some, I will not say definition, explanation of why the creature that form their staple food. Who are they? They're agile file. We are getting introduced. And where will you place this sentence number? Where will you place this sentence number 3? Right? Logically to me, okay, we've talked about canopy. We talked about swift and shallows. Then you want to focus on this bird swift. Okay. Okay, let's get the focus to swift. Who are these people? They were amazing, awesome fellows. Eats flies. That's what swift is doing. That is 3. Okay, let me also talk about this swift. They don't care. They'll go anywhere to fly. And this is the answer choice that was given 1, 4, 3, 2 as a logical answer choice. But compare these two scenarios. You have got 1, 4, 3, 2 and 1, 4, 2, 3. 1, 4, 3, 2 means we start with talking about woodland canopy. that receives most of sunlight, that is wooden canopy exists. Okay, above the sunshine, there are a lot of insects, and swifts and swallows go take the insect. Let me talk about this fellow called swift. This is what they are. They are amazing agile fire. They chase the insect because they are the creature that form the staple diet. Now let me also tell you this: they just don't confine to woodland. Okay, they'll hunt wherever the insects in the air. That's how that conversation is going. Look at this conversation. The woodland canopy receives most of the sunlight fall on the sheet. Great. There are hundreds of thousands of insects that fly there, and some fall prey to swifts and swallows. Okay, but let me talk about swift. They just don't confine to color. They'll go wherever they want to go. Now let me talk about who swifts are. They're amazing creature. Okay, they can fly. This particular logic means, okay, the conversation started with canopy. To introduce to us a few birds that exist to survive, to eat on these flies. And I want to keep the focus because there is one bird which does not confine to canopy, goes anywhere else. Let me then talk about that particular bird. That is the logic here. This logic is, okay, we've got a canopy. There are flies in the canopy, but swift and shallows. Okay, let me talk about the swift. Okay, the swift. Give it a short introduction to the swift. Swifts are agile flyers. They're a creature that travel anywhere. Okay, but let me also tell you this: swift go anywhere else also. Which one? And I'm sure you would have went for 1, 4, 2, 3. You would have went for 1, 4, 3, 2. In these scenarios, don't be hard to yourself. All right. Sometimes it is possible that we lose the bet when it comes to paragraph jumble. It's quite possible. The way in which I see is, and keep our life very, very simple. Okay, I seen the block between 1 and 4. That's a clean block. There is no doubt. 1 and 4 is a very, very sure block. There is no issues, no doubt, absolutely certain. Then I want to figure out these two. Both are talking about swift. Okay, so let's get to see. So what is these two things are good doing? Both are talking about specific to think about swift, right? The fact that where they hunt, what kind of creatures are there, what they hunt. This is about what they hunt, why they hunt. This is talking about where they hunt. And I'm thinking that this is far more logical to say that it talks about, okay, before I get to swift, talk something, introduce, give some definition. Okay, and then what they eat. Okay, great, I understood. Why they eat. Okay, now let's go and talk about where they eat. And therefore 3-2 independently makes a lot of sense. Sometimes they goof up. All we needed is one comma. It's not that without the comma also, I think we can figure this out. All we needed is to make the sentence a little more cohesive. It's logical, a little more cohesive to help us. All you have to do is to ensure that there is no two very different. It should not be that two things seems very logical and I cannot figure out which is more logical. Don't do that. We can say all that, but these things are very, very rare. If it happens to you, it's going to happen for everyone. You just take a bet, right, and keep it simple. Keep it simple, soldier. We'll do this only. Don't try and do multiple things. Don't try and mug. Lord, okay, there are these 10, 15 sequences, 15 sequences. There could be many sequences. And there could be combination lot of different sequences. And I think that it's to capture all the sequence together and call it zooming in helps. Okay, structure wise. Look for the echo, look for the pronoun, look for the signal, find the start, find the block, find the sequence. You'll be fine. When we do more questions in the strategy lessons and in the test doses and in the section tests and of course in the mocks that you take, right? And I'm sure that we'll get better and better at this. And we'll do just enough to get out of the 3 questions. We need 2 questions correct. get 6 marks out of it. At least 6 marks plus. We don't want to be in a situation of getting 0 marks out of 3. 3 marks, okay, I can live with it. 6 mark, I'll be extremely happy. 9 marks, oh, we want to be here. We definitely don't want to be here. Okay, I can take this. Okay. And the only reason why I've taken 3 marks is because it was confusing for everybody else, other 2 questions. That's why I took the 3 marks. But I really want to be here. 6 or 9 marks. And we'll get there. I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.